CBS Sports ranked the 2026 offensive infrastructures for every team in the NFL. Where do you think the Bears ranked? You'll find out on this episode of the Halas Huddle. I'm Justin Oniemi. Joined with me is Bob Weiss, and we are ready to talk Bears, NFC North, and NFL with you here on the Halas Huddle.
That's right. Welcome into the Halas Huddle. We're excited to talk about exciting Bears offense. Very happy that that's the stage that we're at. If you're excited about that too, hit that like button. If you enjoy the show, subscribe. We got more coming, and make sure you join the conversation in the comment section. We love hearing from all the Halas Huddlers out there about what they think too.
So as I said in the opening, this was from CBS Sports. Looks like Jared Dubin. I don't know if I said that name correct. And what they did here in this article was ranked the offensive infrastructure of all 32 NFL teams. Now, just to give you guys some background on what that means, every team was ranked from 1 as terrible to 5 being elite in the following areas. Play caller, whether that's your head coach or your offensive coordinator. So in the case of the Bears, it would be Ben Johnson. Offensive line, pass catchers, which is wide receivers and tight ends, and running backs. Notably absent from the list is quarterback. So these rankings is removing your quarterback from it, and basically you could think of it as what is the support system that is around the quarterback. And so with that kind of nuance there made me look at this list quite a bit more interest, Bob. And we've been talking offseason rankings all through the offseason. I mean, that's really what we do in the offseason. If you remember, Bears were ranked as the 15th best weapons, which also did not include quarterback. And when we broke that down, Bob, we talked about, well, what if the guy that tells those weapons what to do is awesome in the case of Ben Johnson? So this takes that into account. And Bob, where did the Bears rank?
Number one in the entire NFL. Let me qualify that. Tied for number one with the Los Angeles Rams, who have Sean McVay, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. You know, that is the type of class of offensive talent and infrastructure that the Chicago Bears are in right now. And just couldn't be possibly any more excited that that's the kind of conversations we're having right now.
So I guess the first thing we have to sort out here is, do you agree that that's where they should be ranked? Like, how do you feel about that ranking? And then I think we need to even unravel it a little further, because I think there's a way to look at this where it doesn't make Caleb Williams seem that important or good, perhaps.
Yeah, I think there's lots of ways to look at this. And I would just say, I mean, I think generally speaking, I'm kind of a prove it to me kind of guy. The Bears were, I think, maybe speaking to your point about what it says about Caleb Williams, top 10 offense last year, not number 1 offense in the NFL. So I think I maybe would have preferred to see the Bears ranked 5th or 6th, maybe, with the potential to get to number 1 by the end of the year. But what I think it really speaks to more than anything is, I hope we're ready to have a conversation about this, is that Ryan Poles has done a pretty good job. Like, I don't think he gets enough credit for what he's actually put together here. It's one of these things that as you grow older and older, some things just are always true. And one thing I found that's always true is you only get one chance to make a first impression. And Ryan Poles' first impression here in Chicago was, let's be honest, it was awful. He was put in a terrible situation to begin with, but the Matt Eberflus situation was just horrible. Just some kind of draft picks didn't work out for a long time. You know, the 3rd round pick blunders, everything about him. But at the end of the day, everything that we're talking about right now in this episode is Ryan Poles. He brought this all here. So let's just give some kudos for him. That's kind of where we're at talking about this team right now.
I like that you said that and how you said that, because a lot of the more recent moves, you could quickly start to be like, yeah, but that was obvious, yeah, get Joe Thuney. But like, the Chiefs were in a situation where they couldn't hold on to all their players, and he saw value there. And I think, was it only for a 5th round pick or a 4th round pick?
It was a 4th round pick for Thuney.
4th round pick. So, I mean, incredible move there. The Jonah Jackson move, you can't say, after the season he had, coming off a bad season, And by the way, that was with the Los Angeles Rams, I believe. You can't say that was just like an obvious move that you knew was going to work out. Drafting Caleb, I mean, duh, obvious.
How many people still wanted the haul?
Exactly. And he made that trade because he didn't take Bryce Young, or I guess he could have had CJ Stroud as well the year prior. So, to act like these are just all obvious moves is unfair and using your 2020 retroactive lens. So I like that you said that. Now, Caleb Williams gets ranked all sorts of different places, and he's on the Madden cover. So we know, the Madden cover probably is because of these, showing out type plays, these huge moments. So just because you're on the cover doesn't mean you're the best at your position or have what have you. But he is a guy where he rightfully so should be ranked in like the 10 to 12, 13 range, but with the arrow pointing up. You mentioned that they're tied with another team here. It's the Los Angeles Rams, and Matthew Stafford just won the MVP award, and he's not a part of that number one. So Matthew Stafford, who's obviously a veteran on the tail end of his career, is able to do MVP level work with the number one ranked offensive infrastructure. So if Caleb Williams isn't in the MVP conversation this year, does that mean he's underwhelming or underperforming with what he has? I don't feel that way. I mean, Ben Johnson gets a lot of credit, and he should. But I also think that we saw this in year one, and I hope to see it even more in year 2, 3, and 4, that the play caller and the quarterback have to become one. So it's not, you can't separate it. Like when Ben Johnson was great in Detroit, and we'll talk about where they were on this list in a moment, but when he was great in Detroit, Jared Goff was getting all sorts of flowers and kudos, and rightfully so. But you can't really tell where one ends and one begins, in my opinion. When you look at some of these best units, you got the great head coach or play caller, what have you. You have the quarterback, and then it's like you see them both like this. This list, though, makes me think that you see the infrastructure here and Caleb somewhere way down here, and I just don't buy that. But to your point, show it to us. Show it to us this year, and next year you'll be ranked very differently on some of these lists that don't matter at all.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to the point where people aren't trying to take something away from Caleb Williams, right? I know we're not there yet. Like, I'm not saying we ever should have been, but the reality of the situation is that people have always hated on Caleb Williams. People have always been trying to discount him. People have always been trying to take something away from him. And, being ranked the number one team, number one offense in the all NFL, if you don't count the quarterback, is just kind of setting him up to where, hey, if there's not success here, whose fault is it, right? Clearly Caleb Williams. I think the flip side of it, maybe the glass half full, is everything here is for him, and all he needs to do is just play within himself, play within this offense, and then sprinkle on all of those extreme highlight plays that get you on the Madden cover, and then all of a sudden you kind of are Patrick Mahomes, right? I mean, that's what made Patrick Mahomes so special, is that he was extremely efficient. We can talk about Detroit Lions were number 3, right? So Jared Goff being just a very good, solid, competent quarterback with all that offensive talent infrastructure is an unbelievable NFL quarterback. And then so Patrick Mahomes is Jared Goff when you lay on top Caleb Williams' spectacular plays, right? So that's what we need Caleb Williams to get to, and it's all there in place, and hopefully he does it. Hopefully he shows it. But it is all there. So optimistically, it's all there for him. Pessimistically, even if he does do it, they'll try to take it away from him because it's all there for him.
I'm a little bummed out in the article because there was only 4 teams where they actually showed, unless I maybe didn't click around enough to see what the actual figures were to calculate. But the Bears were number 1 and finished with an overall score of 4.45. So we said 5 is elite, and that's average across those categories, tied with the Rams. And Detroit was just a tick behind at 4.40. Now, what I find interesting is we here on the show, we try to be objective and honest, and we, I think, have consistently said that Detroit's weaponry is better than the Bears. Now, with offensive line, I think that's where the Bears might start to catch up a little. but here's the thing. Ben Johnson came from Detroit. He was their play caller then when they were having this great success. And we saw in the season without him, they did come down a bit. So I'm curious, like, how much did he matter for that? Because we just said how the number one ranking takes away a little bit from Caleb, and it does give a lot of flowers, I think, to Ben Johnson. But then to see that the team he left is still right there, minus him, what do you think about that, Bob?
I think it just talks about the talent level. They really just have an insane talent level there. I mean, you're talking about, Jamison Williams being their fourth offensive weapon, who is just, just a go-getter, just a, absolute monster. Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, and then, Amon-Ra St. Brown is every bit as good as anybody else in the NFL. So I think that's probably what it speaks to more than anything. And I guess it'd just be scary if Ben Johnson was still there.
Right? Glad he's not.
Yeah. No.
Very, very glad he's not. Yeah, so absolutely. The rest of the NFC North, they have Minnesota coming in, I guess I'm going to say third because I'm just saying within the NFC North, but they were 11th on this list, which is still pretty high up. I mean, top third of the league. And then Green Bay Packers not too far behind that at 13. And so what I think this speaks to, and I'm not breaking any news here, Halas Huddlers, this is a strong division. We've known this. Now they're saying offensive play caller, and although I guess in Detroit, oh man, why am I forgetting the head coach's name? Campbell. He started to call for a little bit while there, but this division has talent and has great coaching, and I mean I think it's a very competitive division. So that's why, as much as we get excited here about the Bears, you still have to kind of look over your shoulder here in the NFC North.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially, you look at a team like Minnesota, just a perennially 8-win team. No matter what they do, they're going to win 8 games. And, I can't say enough good things about Kevin O'Connell. I've talked about him on this channel over and over and over and over again. And that number 11 ranking is really just because of Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson, right? I know they got, a decent offensive line. They got that other wide receiver I know Rob loves that I just can't.
Jordan Addison,
thank you. But, just Kevin O'Connell is just a good, solid head coach with the offensive mind to go with it. And that's hopefully what we got with Ben Johnson. And then, the Packers, as much as it's so much fun to just kind of hate and shit on the Packers, Matt LaFleur is just constantly wins 11 games up there. Just over and over and over and over again. So I think that ranking is mostly Matt LaFleur because they're wide receivers, the tight end is hurt. What do they really have working up there other than just, Matt LaFleur?
See, I mean, it's like a loop here because then that makes me think, is that how much better Jordan Love is then? That he's bringing this much less talented and set up offensive infrastructure in, they keep making the 7 seed, Bob. So let's not forget that. But but year after year, they're right there. And, I'm not trying to turn this into a Jordan Love versus Caleb Williams thing, but at the end of the day, that's always what ends up being the conversation.
It's really hard not to. And, as much as I feel like a lot of times on this channel, I end up speaking out both sides of my mouth, but I'm really just trying to stay towards the middle. I'll say over and over and over again, I don't know anybody in the NFL who, especially when you take in contracts, who is picking Jordan Love over Caleb Williams. There's no reasonable explanation for that. Jordan Love is already making that $55 million a year, and he's not that good. He's fine. He's good. He's a starting quarterback of the NFL. He's the type of argument I make for Jay Cutler all the time. Jay Cutler might not have been phenomenal, but he was one of the 20-plus best quarterbacks in the world at any time, right? He deserved to be a starting NFL quarterback. And that's just how I feel about Jordan Love. I think he's fine. I think he's good. But what has he ever done to be special? And we know that Caleb Williams has shown special. What he hasn't shown is just the grinded out, drive to drive, quarter to quarter, week to week, game to game type of thing. But we don't know that he can't do it, right? I just think Jordan Love has had enough time, especially being on a veteran contract, that we should know how good Jordan Love is or isn't. And if we haven't seen the height, then that's just not who he is. He's just a good, solid quarterback who's going to need to be part of a special team in order to actually win something.
I love that. The Cutler comparison. I've never thought of it, but that's a good one because the talent is there. The wow plays can be there, but so can the like, what are you doing type of head scratching. Now with Caleb Williams, you said he can do these amazing things, and we're just waiting to see the consistency of the mundane. And I would hope and think that that's easier to do. Like if you can already do the other stuff, coming in, being reined in, especially with a coach that knows what to look for, knows how to coach, the answer should be there. So until the results start coming in, this is all just for off-season fodder for shows like ours. We appreciate it because it gives us stuff to talk about. And I'll be honest, it's nice to see the Bears at the top of a list that like this. I just don't like the undertones that could make it seem like it's a shot at a guy like Caleb. But I think he's a bulletin board material type of guy. Like, he likes to be doubted. He likes to, have people think he needs to prove himself. And the great ones typically are that way. So I don't think this is going to hurt him in any way. I think it might just motivate him.
Yeah, and kind of too, I think, might as well just talk about while we're talking about Caleb Williams. ESPN did rank their top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And this is with like assistant coaches and talent evaluators with the NFL. It's not just a sports writer. And Caleb Williams came in number 10. Apparently there was a close battle for number 10 between Caleb Williams, Sam Darnold, Jaden Daniels, and Jordan Love. Jordan Love was in that conversation here. So maybe me having Jordan Love more like 18 rather than 12 is maybe some bias on my point, maybe even not. I don't know. But, Caleb Williams did get some love as, a top 10 quarterback. We talked about his place on the NFL top 100 lists, CBS and NFL, NFL.com or whatever, NFL Network. He was 12th or 13th or 14th or whatever. So it was just kind of nice to see that he is, getting some love as a top 10 guy, even though in his right up here in ESPN, there is a defensive coach who said wildly erratic, right? And he's just not going to be able to do anything until he fixes that.
I know this wasn't the purpose of the show, but if you've made it this far, stick with us here. You mentioned Jaden McDaniels just now.
Jaden Daniels.
Sorry, Jaden Daniels. I'm sorry. And on this list of infrastructure, Washington Commanders come in almost as bad as you can be. They're 29th. And I'm not going to go through the details of their roster, but what that's basically saying is he doesn't have the support. Now, his year 2 season, I know a lot of it was due to injuries, but let's be honest, that's part of the game. The fact that Caleb Williams, he's been durable in NFL, in college, even in his high school days. So it was something that I remember you and Rob pointing out even in the draft process for Daniels. So you can't just say that that's not part of how you evaluate these people. So I'm curious. I know his rookie year was better than Williams. Let's leave it at that for sure. But Williams' second year had to be so much better than Daniels, and that's the year we're coming off of now. So is it fair that they're being seen as neck and neck right now? And again, with the infrastructure being on polar opposites, Caleb has the best situation and Daniels has close to the worst. How do you see them being evaluated in year 3?
Yeah, that's a fascinating question. I think the Washington Commanders on this list are grouped with the Tennessee Titans and Cleveland Browns. Like, that's just not the company you want to keep. That's not great. So sorry for you, Jaden Daniels. But yeah, I mean, me and Rob would talk all the time when we're going through the quarterback fellowship, and then all through Jaden Daniels' rookie year too, when he's lighting it up and on fire. And everyone said, "Oh, we took the wrong guy. We took the wrong guy. We took the wrong guy." Again, props to Ryan Poles for just picking his guy. Now we're seeing, but like, it was never that Rob and I were wishing injury upon Jaden Daniels. It's just the reality of that body type, his history in college, and just the NFL. Like, it was going to happen. Injuries are going to be part of the story. So why don't we wait 3 or 4 years to see what it looks like then before we, evaluate whether Ryan Poles made the wrong choice with the quarterback or not. But as far as, the Bears being ranked number 1 and Commanders being ranked 29, like, even if Jaden Daniels is rookie of the year, Jaden Daniels again, the Bears should still be better, even if Caleb Williams is still just 2025 Caleb Williams, right? Like, because of just the difference in the way those teams are set up. Now, I'd be interested to really know where the Commanders are kind of falling short.
That's why I wanted to see like a spreadsheet of the scores,
Yeah.
but it just did a little blurb here. It says, I'm somewhat surprised to see the Commanders finish this low in the rankings, but we give all first-time play callers an average ranking. So that's one caveat. Apparently they have a new play caller, David Blau.
But it says the average ranking is 3 for David Blau, and their overall ranking is 2.95. So that means the rest of their offensive
line and playmakers aren't that great. Thin pass catching core and one of the weakest running back groups in the NFL. That'll do a lot to drag an offensive line that is above average at best. So not a glowing endorsement. And as you said, the teams that they're right there with are teams that should be vying for the number 1 pick next year, which is normally where you go and get a quarterback. So I don't think if you're in Washington that you'd already want to have that mentality. According to this, that's kind of where you're headed. So that's let's just say it's back to good job, Ryan Poles.
Right. Absolutely.
You gotta back up your number 1 pick, and in their case, your number 2 pick.
Even if that means drafting a 3rd string tight end in the 3rd round instead of a defensive.
Hey, we don't say 3rd string around here. We say tight end 3.
Sorry, tight end 3. Tight end 3, not 3rd string. Correct. Thank you for the correction.
All right. So, Halas Huddlers, are the Bears ranked fairly? Is it a shot at Caleb Williams? What are you thinking? We want to know, and we want to get into a conversation with you. So please, if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any Halas Huddle episodes. Like, comment. We'll keep the conversation going with you as we always do. Bob?
Yeah, and Halas Huddlers, you stuck with me and Justin this long. Thank you. Me and Justin love talking Bears. I mean, our relationship together is basically built on talking Bears and sports. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Our guy Rob Schwartz is just out of town this week, enjoying vacation with the family. So Rob, I hope you're doing well, enjoying your vacation, and I can't wait for you to get back and on the huddle yourself.
Sounds good. But when he comes back, I'm out of here. It is summer after all.
The week after that. So Halas Huddlers, just stick with us. You'll get 2 of us, I promise.
At least 2. All right. Unless it's stadium talk. That's all, Rob. All right. Well, that's it. So bear down. Claws up.
Come on,